the second. India have won the test match. India have won the series. They're going to get back for two. India at home. Lords goes wild.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the 81 All Out podcast. This is your host, Siddhartha Vaidyanathan, and I'm joined today by three regulars, Mahesh, Ashoka, and Kartikeya. Good to have everyone back. We are going to be talking about the fifth and final test between Australia and India at Sydney. Australia won by 6 wickets. They won the series 3-1. And for the first time since 2015, now the holders of the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. It's been a while coming. I mean, not as similar to maybe the longer drought they had. Perhaps similar, but yeah, I mean, it's been a while coming, and they haven't won in. They've lost the last two series in Australia to India, and then they've also lost in India when they've toured. So yeah, it's a big deal. Melbourne, I think Melbourne and Sydney will be really special wins for Australia. Melbourne, they pulled off a fantastic win on the final day of the final session of the test, and we reviewed that test. You can go back and listen to what we had to say about it. And here, of course, it didn't need that long. I mean, this match finished much earlier. But again, I think a really special win for them, hard fought, in tough conditions. I mean, it's not, this wasn't the kind of pitch that we're used to seeing at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Very different. There was talks about how they'd added some fresh grass here for this year, and how the Sheffield Shield matches were also pretty fast bowler friendly. But yeah, this one was quite friendly through the test. It wasn't just on the first session or the first day. And yeah, they did well. I mean, they had some fine performances. And first innings was pretty close. Both teams were neck to neck. But then I think in the second innings, India didn't have too many. And they also had this big problem of the injury to Jasprit Bumrah, who was eventually a Church Player of the Series. But yeah, I mean, when you lose a bowler like Bumrah, then you have only two other fast bowlers in the lineup, it's always going to be uphill task to defend 160 odd. So yeah, I mean, fantastic series overall. They were. When we previewed the series, we felt that it wasn't going to be as bad as 5-0 for India. A lot of people were predicting 5-0. We felt that India had the team to, put up the fight and then put up a fight, though we did give Australia the edge. All of us knew that Australia had the better and deeper attack. And it turned out that way. I think eventually 3-1 is a fair reflection of what panned out. India were lucky, very lucky in Brisbane to get away with a draw. They were fantastic at Perth to make the most of the conditions, and Melbourne and Sydney, well, yeah, I don't think it was going to go any other way. You can say they could have drawn in Melbourne, but that would have been like a huge heist in itself. I think they were going to lose that match anyway. Yeah, thoughts, Mahesh? Welcome back.
Thank you. I have not listened to the last two episodes, so I'm guessing you've already covered what I'm going to talk about, which is essentially what has been the single biggest.
No, congratulations, Mahesh. I mean, I should congratulate you for your
watching
courage
only-
and dedication for standing down for 2 episodes on this podcast, man. Not many people will do it. You showed leadership by standing down
Selflessness,
and not showing up for 2 episodes on a Border-Gavaskar Trophy.
That's the true leader we want.
Yeah, I will for sure tweet about this. I'll get a Twitter account and tweet about this.
Now that we are in the
Immediately.
zone,
Really? You
also
guys
read, this is not my last episode. I'll be back.
You are a father of 2 kids, man. You will not do rash shit. You
Make
will-
sensible decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Father of 2 kids. Correct.
All
Not
that
to
is
forget.
fine, but it's a mighty coincidence. Rohit Sharma makes like averages 6 and like our man like disappears.
Yeah. Of course.
Hey, don't say coincidence. It takes courage to not show up. It takes bravery.
All right,
Oh my
continue.
Yeah.
Now that you're not going anywhere,
You can't like outright come out and accuse the guy, man. Like people draw their own conclusions. No,
I don't know, man. It's just been a bizarre series. After the end of the match, I was reminded of Kartikeya's rant when we did the England series wrap up when England came here, baseball. Where they refused to play 11, which was going to take 20 wickets. I don't think India's case is that bad, but it's not that bad primarily because India had Bumrah. But if you take Bumrah out, they didn't. I don't understand. I don't understand the point of Washington Sundar. Like, what was he doing in the team? We can talk about Kohli and Rohit, for all we want, but at the end of the day, India's chances of winning the series was dented the moment they picked the 11 they picked for all the 5 tests. And, Prasidh Krishna, Kartikeya, I don't know if he mentioned this in the podcast, he wrote about it, but he's basically like expecting a Tremblay-esque sort of series from him, given his
height in the preview.
And his release point. And we've been talking about it for a while now. And that's exactly what you got in the 5th test. In many ways, that was a validation for all that we've talked. But it has been a very bizarre series, especially given that India's turnaround in its success in Test cricket has been primarily driven by playing 5 bowlers. At home, 3 spinners, and away, 3 seamers with an all-rounder and a spinner, or 4 seamers and an all-rounder. Occasionally, we've even played 5 seamers, even when we didn't have 5 quality seamers. Vinay Kumar played in Perth Test, for instance, in the past. I'm saying even in the last, not the Wacker, last Perth Test that we played, we did play 5 seamers. This has been a very bizarre sort of selection for me. And then, we go out of our way to kind of make a case saying strategy and selection doesn't influence matches and series as much. But on this one occasion, I'd like to disagree that the selection has been quite an influential part in the results of the series, which is not to take anything away from Australia. Australia had the better resources for the series, even though Nathan Lyon has probably, I think, Daniel Brittick tweeted this, right? He's not bowled as few overs in a 5-test series in Australia all his career. So Lyon was not fully utilized. When Mitch Marsh was playing, he also did not bowl much. So they were able to operate with pretty much 3 fast bowlers. But they're playing at home, and their 3 fast bowlers are fantastic fast bowlers, and they're immensely fit. And of course, there was also always Lyon to call upon if the situation demanded and if the conditions demanded. But it's been a bizarre series for me. I cannot make sense of it. And the captain was the same captain. I mean, Rohit was the captain when he played 5 bowlers. Kohli is still part of the team, still part of like the think tank, so to speak. And he was the first one to play 5 bowlers consistently. I don't know. Usually you would expect some sort of continuity, right? It's not a dramatic change in the management. And it's not like India is coming out the bottom of the table or something. So when Dravid left, we were in a pretty good sort of place. You would expect continuity in that sense. And to the extent that, let's say, a love 3 loss at home against New Zealand changed some things, I don't know what it could have changed. I mean, I don't know. I'm not able to explain this. Australia played very, very well. And they might have even won, even if India played, let's say, 4 seamers all along. But the fact that India did not even compete for most of the series, and Bumrah created this illusion of competition by being an extraordinary exception. I mean, even by Bumrah standards, this was a great series. I mean, watching him was an absolute privilege. The way Jaiswal batted throughout the series was great to watch. But the fact that they did not give themselves the best chance to win the series, I am not able to make sense of it. I know Kartikeya believes in sort of not questioning these decisions. But I don't know. I'm left with no other choice but to question these decisions.
Just one correction. I think you meant in Perth, both 2011 and 2018, they played 4 seamers, right? They didn't play 5. They played 4. They played Ishant, Bumrah, Umesh, and Shami in the last time we played the 2018 test. And then the Vinay Kumar test, they played Zahir, Umesh, Vinay Kumar, and Ishant. So, yeah, 4.
And who was the 5th
4 seamers. In the Vinay Kumar test, Sehwag, I'm looking at the scorecard. Sehwag just bowled a few overs. Okay, and in the 2018 test, it was Bihari and Vijay. Again,
they didn't play a spinner. Okay, let's say they didn't play a specialist spinner. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't play a specialist spinner in any of those games. They played 4 seamers.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I mean, which is, again, not 5 bowlers, but it is 4 seamers. So for the conditions, you have four, like you have all the four bowlers bowling for the conditions, which is fair. Yeah, which they didn't have here.
Yeah. And you made the mistake once. Why would you do it again? And also, Ashoka and I were talking before we started recording. See, it's possible that, let's say, you're not paying attention to the change in the nature of the pitch over time in Sydney or whatever. But on the morning of the test, you would have seen the pitch. No? There was so much grass on the pitch. To still go ahead and select two spinners that you didn't fully utilize in the previous test. And also, at least Jadeja, for instance, it's a good insurance, right? Let's say you have a leather hunt and you have to bowl 150 overs. Jadeja is an important insurance to have, and he bats really well. But I don't understand the point of picking two insurance for that, which is both Washington Sundar and Jadeja. And it's not like you're playing Sundar at number 5 or something. He's still playing below Reddy. So, between Jadeja, Reddy, and Sundar, I don't know. It's been bizarre.
Yeah. Initially you could have said that they placed some faith, that is in the first test, you could have said they placed some faith in Reddy. But I think for bowling, but I think it was pretty clear for a while that, he's not in the top 5 bowlers. I mean, if you want to, he's okay as a 6th bowler to break a partnership, but he's not really a bowler who's going to give you 15, 20 consistent overs. Like, for instance, Bo Webster, who debuted for Australia in this test match. He bowled quite a few overs. And, forget about the wickets. The fact that he just bowled that chunk of
and
overs.
For very little runs, he gave you great control while giving sufficient break time for the frontline bowlers. And Reddy is never going to do that. And at least, in the past, let's say teams of the 90s and the 2000s in India have picked two spinners. That's because we didn't have the depth of fast bowling talent that we have right now. I mean, you have Prasidh Krishna not playing for 4 tests. Akashdeep did not play the first 2 tests. Harshit Rana did not play the last 3 tests. I'm just saying you had enough bench strength.
Yeah, that's the difference, I think, between England. I think England, when they came to India, they had Shoaib Bashir, Hartley, and Leach, right? Yeah, so they could have probably.
They had Rehan. I think Rehan went away or got injured.
Went away. Yeah. Anyway, That we spoke about that similar problem that England had in India when they were not playing those many spinners. Anyway, Ashoka, hope Reddit is alive and well with plenty of entertainment.
Reddit is entertaining, but I see. We were all. I think most of us have said what we thought and about this series, and it has been a repeat, man. I mean, all 5 test matches, it's been the same thing. So as when the series was getting over and Mr. Gambhir was giving his world famous press conference meeting where he was aggressively talking unrelated stuff, I was reminded of something I was reading 6 years ago with relation to my work then. There was this phenomenon someone discovered called the prior idiot phenomenon. It relates to organizations which have teams to do work, which means when teams churn, some new guy comes in charge of a team. That guy, what he decides is that whatever the team was doing prior to my arrival was either inefficient or completely stupid, or this is something that I don't understand or I'm not comfortable with. So I will bring my own people and do things my own way. And he will clear all the deck, whatever things were done before, he will clear out and say, see, this is the process. This is what we are going to do from now, and everything will work from here on. We all have been in teams and we have all seen this phenomenon work out. Especially, I've been in the Bangalore tech bro scene. This happens whenever some new CXO comes, he brings his own lackeys, 10, 15 lackeys, and then everything changes. And it's
some guy like Mahesh, basically.
Mahesh is not a Bangalore tech bro. No, he's like an overseas tech bro. No, he's an overseas finance bro.
Not
so
a tech bro.
He's a finance bro. He's even worse than tech bros.
Okay.
So, anyways,
good comparison.
So this happens, and we have seen it. And I was reminded of that. And the symptoms of such teams in organizations where this happens is that those teams over enthusiastically, because there is a change, and change always brings a break to a routine. So something energizes people. They all run very eagerly and they immediately hit a wall and then ask, hey, why did we hit a wall? Why was this here? Who did this? The guy who did this left.
The
Why
problem
did we
is there
follow
was
this?
no wall to hit
There
right
is no
now.
experience in the team to explain this current predicament.
Very,
Oh,
very
mate.
apt use of hit a wall in this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so this happens, very common, and this might or might not be related to BGT or cricket or whatnot. But when Gambhir was doing,
we have to
his
pause
press
here.
conference,
You have to pause here, right? You said hit a wall, which we know who the wall is. You said Bangalore Tech Bro. The guy who's actually closest to being a Bangalore Tech Bro is the ex-coach. And the current coach is the extreme polar opposite of a possible Bangalore Tech Bro. So,
yeah, he's very far away from it. So when I was watching his press conference, I was randomly reminded of this. I was like, yeah, I used to share this prior idiot phenomenon screenshot with people in my teams whenever the teams churn and all that. So I don't know why, but maybe there is some similarity or maybe there is not. But I was reminded of this. But talking about cricket, this match, you can clearly see the problem is not that we lack bowling or we lack pace reserve. Prasidh came in, took 6 wickets this match, I think. And between Prasidh and Siraj, they took 10 wickets for 200 odd runs in this match. So Siraj is also not that bad. Siraj had, I think, in this series, one bad innings, not even one bad test match, which was the fourth test, where in the first innings he gave away 122. If you take, I mean, that's fine, man. In 10 attempts, one bad innings is. He's not Bumrah. You can't compare him with Bumrah. He's a very good bowler. He will have his bad days. And that was a bad day. So if you cancel that out, he still has like an average of, with all that, he has an average of 30. Minus that bad day, he would have averaged 23, which you will take any day from a second seamer. My point is, if Siraj was good, if Bumrah is excellent, and Prasidh was able, why did you not play Prasidh Krishna earlier? And in pitches where there were bounce and seam movement, why did you not play that? I mean, why do you need two spinners? I mean, these are questions that we ask like in 4 pods now. I mean, at least 2 pods now. But that's what the team does. So it's disappointing. It's disappointing, as Mike said, because this is a reversion back to our 90s and 2000, where we used to cry during overseas tours because we lacked pace bowling depth.
No, but there is a difference. So, like when we played Harbhajan and Kumble in overseas conditions, because we didn't have the fast bowling depth, one, we used to concede a lot of runs, and at least Kumble and Harbhajan bowled.
Yeah,
they were not effective, but they
at
bowled.
least, yeah, that was the option. They bowled like 40-50 overs. Here, these guys are bowling 5-7 overs, and they are consigning Bumrah to a Javagal Srinath career, man. Like they are making him bowl like 100,000 overs and injuring him. How can you do that to a Bumrah? You're not going to get a Bumrah again in what? In many years. This kind of talent. That is the most saddening thing of all. And so that's basically what I was thinking. I mean, this is just idiotic, man. I mean, beyond this, I can't say much. This is just random. I mean, ruination of whatever good philosophy that was working. For what reason, I don't understand. These guys, what will happen if batsmen come good? What will happen if your batsmen get 50 average? They are not going to get it, no, because WTC, nobody is giving you roads except Pakistan. And the one team that is giving you roads, you don't want to play. No, that is so what? Either you prepare roads at home and then chant Kohli, Rohit 10,008 times until you go to heaven, or you attain maximum liberation of your soul, or accept that in WTC, nobody is going to give you anything resembling a road. That, I mean, come on, man. This is not sensible.
No, I think we should. We should emphasize here that Australia might have won anyway. So that is also. I mean, but
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Reason for this is, first of all, we're after the first test, there is some sort of allowance to give, saying, okay, you sort of felt something. Second test, third test. This is after 5 tests. If you're still like doing the same thing, then you will end up with, and that's pretty much. It was pretty apt that they ended up with, Bumrah being injured. after bowling the amount that he did in this series. Siraj being, almost close to being injured. I mean, he's probably injured and this thing, and then not having any third option to bowl in the final test. So
And the guy
yeah,
who
I mean,
that you
even
didn't pick having a good test.
but yeah, but just emphasizing that yes, you might have played Harshit Rana and still lost this match, but at least you might have given yourself a little bit of a
No,
extra
that's another thing. No,
chance.
you did all you can. You picked 6 or 7 pace options. You tried all your combinations and then went 3-1 down. That's fine, fair. Australia are tough to beat in Australia. Imagine that. I mean, Hazelwood got injured. His replacement is Boland, and that guy is picking wickets like at 12 or 13. Man, that is like unfair. So we know
That guy
that's
is
tough
like
to win.
he's bowling as if that those uncovered wickets era, man, where bowlers were getting like
Kartikeya said it
averaging
best.
like 10 and all.
Kartikeya said it best. He's the Akshar Patel of Australia. He's like
Yeah.
born and bred in those conditions. So anyway. So we know that it's all tough, but this is just stupid. No, why take 2 spinners and don't bowl them, man? At least bowl them. What is the competitive edge if you don't even bowl them? That is the I mean frustration. Other than that, Australia did really well. I mean, their bowling, they actually, if you see Stark's series, it was before this test quite similar to Siraj's series. So Australia did it with Cummins, injured Hazelwood for 2 tests, and then Boland. Lyon was not even used. Lyon just had a great summer holiday. He got paid for it, for enjoying his
I
summer.
mean, also there's like some unfair advantage there, man. I mean, you have now Cameron Green, Mitchell Marsh, and this guy Bo Webster. I mean, it's almost like you have like three Jameson kind of players in your team who can bat, who can bowl. I mean, Marsh is probably like the not as not as going to be not as good as Green. Green is maybe top tier pick, but now this guy Webster also, man, he bowled like first inning he bowled 13 overs and conceded 20 something runs.
Watch my boys, New
So
Zealand's. They are coming with a factory of Jamisons. Jamison itself is there. Then one O'Rourke is there. Now they got one Duffy. Then one Nathan Smith there. So everybody
no,
is
but
picking like 6.5 feet bowlers, man. No, I
no,
mean,
but
England
these
is going
guys
with.
can not only bowl, they bat well, man. So that automatically solves the fact. So Australia can play four bowlers with a Webster in the team in these sort of conditions because he is a great fifth bowler to have. But India don't have that thing. They were hoping a Shardul can fill that for a while. They were probably hoping a Reddy can fill that role for a while, but it's not really worked out for them in that way.
Jay Shah
So
should do a nationwide search of 6.5 feet youngsters, man, toddler youngsters, and force them to bowl 20 overs a
Desha has
day.
gone to ICC, by the way. He's fried
Yeah.
bigger fish. No, one thing we should mention is that, as at least in terms of Indian cricket, I think this is not. It's not a prevalent idea. So I'm not surprised that the management under Gambhir has gone back to this whole four bowler strategy and lengthen the batting and thing because I think that is the way Indian cricket has been thinking.
No.
Yes, we had Shastri, we had Dravid. That's one thing, but I think that is an exception rather than the norm.
But do a good job of it. No, let's say you want to do that. Let's say India played Lakshman at 6 and Yuvraj at 6. You do that.
Yeah.
But now you're playing Sundar. I don't get it. Why are you playing? If you played the extra bats, let's say play Sarfraz and remove Washington Sundar. At least then I know you're trying to defend. But with
No,
Washington
I think
Sundar, I
they're
don't know
playing
what you're trying to do.
Reddy. I think after a point in the series, I think Reddy became like a batsman for them.
No, that is
Give you
fine.
like
but
a bonus
let's say,
wicket.
okay, let's, for the sake of argument, let's say Reddy is a batsman. Then you are still playing Jadeja and Washington Sundar. Let's say Jadeja is the insurance you need if you are sent on a leather hunt. I'm okay. Instead of playing Washington Sundar, why don't you play a top order batsman? Then at least I know that you're trying to lengthen your batting and you are happy to go for a stalemate. Like you're happy to sit back and avoid a loss. And if you get a whiff of an opportunity with Bumrah's genius, you might go for a win. At least I know what you're trying to do. But with this, I don't know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a muddle. I mean, there have been several muddles actually. I mean, for instance, for about nearly a decade now, since about, actually Fletcher started this, but it came about once Shastri, like the thing that people forget is that before Shastri became head coach, he spent a lot of time in the Fletcher period as what was it they called him? Team director.
Yeah.
Team director. And they created that whole system, where you may have the A tours and then the shadow tours and all. I think Harshit Rana is the first bowler who has played a test match for India without playing a match in nearly 8 or 9 years now.
He played no A match. He played the tour matches as India.
He didn't.
He didn't, is it? He played the tour match, man. Here, at least against the Prime Minister 11 or whatever. Not before that. Before that, we played on Australia, where
your boy Mukesh took all those wickets.
Mukesh, I'm seething with rage, man. Mukesh Megra, they did not take. Anyways, continue, Karthikeya.
Anyway, continue. Okay, I get the point about Harshit Rana not being in the A system. Got it.
Yeah, and also very little first-class experience. So he was a bit of a rabbit out of a hat, and given that they discarded him after 2 test matches. I mean, they went to Akashdeep, and then when Akashdeep got injured, they went to Prasidh, and they didn't go back to Harshit Rana. So I mean, there's a little bit of a, I don't know, that pulling. They don't seem to know their pecking order, and I was surprised that they didn't play Prasidh Krishna in Perth. Given that they've already tried him in South Africa, and given it's all that, So Mahesh is right, and Ashoka makes a good point about the prior idiot or whatever it is he called it thing, because there does seem to be an element of that, and in a transition that's maybe not such a bad thing, because one of the things, if you look at it from Gambhir's point of view, one of the things that's happening is that he's coming into this side which has been so successful for so long, and it's one generation of so many players who are about the same age who have grown old together, that it's very hard for someone like Gambhir to sort of break into that, so he has to break it up basically, and it's already the breakup, that the process has already started, and since the last 2 years. Rahane is gone, Pujara is gone, Umesh Yadav is gone, Ishant Sharma is gone, now Ashwin is gone. One or both out of Rohit and Kohli will be gone in sometime this year. Or
no, nobody is going anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it will be left to them. I mean, I think that the selectors will probably drop them. But some of these players have gone, and Jadeja might not be far behind. Jadeja might also go because Jadeja is also not getting any younger. I mean, I think he's going to be 37 soon. And nowadays these guys are like, when they go, it's like there's still 2-3 years in the IPL for them, or more if you're Dhoni, but or 10 years in the IPL for them.
They'll bring 2 impact players, man. There is just 1 impact player now. They'll bring 2.
There are many uncapped years left.
They might create a rule saying that if a India player announces retirement, then they become uncapped the next morning, or some such thing. So there is opportunities, life for them in cricket afterwards. So that's probably changing some sort of calculations about quitting and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. Everybody's going after Gambhir, and fine, they've lost, so obviously they have to go after somebody. So they're going after Gambhir, and they don't have Rohit Sharma to go after because the guy opted out of this test match. Or
hey. Hello. He didn't opt out. He stood down.
Or was left out.
No, he
stood down. That is his word.
Whatever. What does it matter? He didn't play. So they can't really blame him. So they have to go for, And all right.
And nobody better blame Jasprit.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I can
everything
see,
No, no,
is
I
but,
can see. I mean, and Gambhir doesn't really help himself. Gambhir says stuff like, "Oh, it would be nice if, if players showed that commitment to red ball cricket by coaching, by playing in red ball cricket, in the Ranji Trophy."
Yeah, you will learn how to face Boland in Melbourne by
Hey, but
facing
that's
Jayadev
okay.
Unadkat in Saurashtra.
No, but even if it's not, I mean, you might still, get the runs, which, for instance, Gill has played one first class match outside test matches, since November 2022. And he made a couple of 20s in that match. So, I mean, he has a point, but then, especially
By that
if
logic, Karun Nair should be here,
no,
man.
but
That guy.
especially no, it's even worse than that. Especially by that logic, uh, the same thing can be turned right back on Gambhir. No, they should say like some red ball coaching experience in the Ranji Trophy would be handy. So people will say that. And I mean, it's like he does. I don't know why he does.
Chandrakant Pandit, please.
For the first time ever, I saw like those videos of those press conferences. I found out apparently like the videos of every press conference is available on YouTube. I did not know this phenomenon.
Like, comment, subscribe to
Yeah, I think-
Vimalva on YouTube.
Karthikeya, I think you should spend the next few days watching every single press
Watching
conference that's
Vimalva,
available
two
on-
sloggers,
No.
Sushant Gupta, or whoever that
It's
guy
like,
is, who had
Firstly, that press conference is like completely useless, man. Like the questions are useless and the answers are also useless. Like it's a competition of uselessness. It's like I was thinking, like, okay, if you're sitting down to write a review of this series, like there's literally not one sentence in that press conference.
Dude, we
or
have lost
answer.
3-1. These guys are asking Sam Constas incident.
Yeah.
What do you make of
Who
it?
cares?
I'm like,
I mean,
who cares, man? You lost 3-1.
Yeah, but Ashoka, they ask it because a lot of people care. So that is the reason why it's there. So
because a quote from Gambhir on that is going to get a lot of
and
clicks.
honestly, I'm a bit empathetic towards the journalists because I'll tell you why. Because the moment you file, the bosses are telling them to ask these questions. The bosses are saying that we want something on Constas because people they know that's what will get the clicks.
So it has all been a little bit scatterbrained, and it has been a little bit sort of, reactionary. They seem to be reacting to things which perhaps I'm not sure that they need to react to. I mean, it's like, come on, people are talking about the batting, and Khwaja averaged 20 in this series, Labuschagne averaged 26, Smith averaged 35, Constas and McSweeney together averaged 21. It's not like the Australians have like everybody averaging 40 and 50 in their top order, man. I mean Webster and Marsh was their number 6. Together they averaged 14 or something like that. So Alex Carey averaged 30, whereas Rishabh Pant averaged 28. The odd thing about this series is like I can't understand how what was India's theory of winning? Was it Jasprit Bumrah or bust? Or what was it? If it was that, fine, then say that. No, okay, Bumrah is so good, I can understand the temptation to go that way. But then do it properly, no? Like, then play 2 spinners and 2 fast bowlers and, Nitish Kumar Reddy as your 5th bowler. And then hope that you can, and on these wickets it wouldn't work, I think. But, but I think they got caught between a bunch of options and sort of, they ended up neither here nor there in the whole series. So
yeah, I think there were 2 things. I think Harshit Rana, that first test was a batting call. Because he had a decent batting record in first class cricket. So there was part of that too, constantly trying to juggle
he hardly
batting
played
and
first class
bowling.
cricket, man. That's not much of a record. That's just like, it's the same with Reddy. Reddy is, and I think Reddy and Rana were like basically potential picks on potential. But then you have to ask, like, do you have a spot to spare against the best team in the world in their conditions? If you want to beat them for for a potential. I mean, you could argue that Australia also playing Constas on potential, but their problem, Australia, a different problem. No, it's like they're losing so many wickets to Jasprit Bumrah against a new ball that they basically said like, hey, we might as well, swing for the fences and try to get some runs before our guy gets out. And they did. No, I mean, that guy Constas, he made 100 runs in 4 innings, like 25 or so, whatever. This is the weird thing, and this is not a good place for the guy to be. I don't know. And to be, I mean, he has had a really rough beginning. I mean, they lost the one-day series in Sri Lanka. I mean, they got ambushed in Sri Lanka. Actually, that was a throwback to the one-day cricket of the 80s. When the one-day series was a big deal back then, and it was really an away series. Like it was like Sri Lanka played 5 spinners and put turning wickets, and they got, and that's like one-day cricket has become such a tournament-centric format that in a tournament you would never face that. Like Sri Lanka are never going to play 5 spinners in a tournament. So, but it was an interesting ambush, and it was, if you like cricket, it was an interesting thing, and they lost. Then New Zealand I think New Zealand shocked them. I think New Zealand sort of really got them to down. I'm really curious, if they had won in New Zealand, would they have tried all these things?
Won against New Zealand.
Yeah. If they won against New Zealand, would they have tried all this stuff? Or would they have just gone with the simple, Jadeja plus 4 fast bowlers, and fine, the tail starts at 8, but that's fine. It's like the last 4 wickets are going to add 50 runs if you're lucky. Mostly it's going to be 30, 40 runs, and that's fine. I mean, that doesn't really matter as long as that 4th bowler is there to take wickets. Like their problem was Nitish Kumar Reddy bowled like 44 overs in 5 test matches. That's not a 4th bowler's workload. I mean, the 4th bowler's job is basically to be second change. To have a fast bowler at second change, so that the new ball bowlers get a bit of a longer break, between their first and second spells. And that extends your ability to threaten with the ball in these conditions by about 10, 12 overs. So instead of being able to threaten for only about 18 overs, you can threaten for about 35 overs that way.
Ideally, if you're a new ball bowler, you bowl once a session, no? You bowl one spell and your changes will take over.
And then maybe you come back towards the end of a session for a burst. If you're like Bumrah, like you want him to bowl like 2 overs. If there's a wicket just half an hour before the break, the new guy comes in, you want Bumrah for 2 overs, then you want to use him. But they're not able to do that. No, I mean, they're all stretched.
I think we should, I was looking at the scorecards from the last tour, the 2020-2021 tour. And it's not like India played 4 fast bowlers in those games either. I think the difference there was they had, Shami for the first test. And then after that, they had Siraj come through and all. But apart from the final test where their hand was forced because where basically they had to play whichever 11 was.
That was compulsion. No, I mean, they had so many injuries.
Yeah, but that was only in the final test. I'm saying even in when they played.
No, I mean, Bumrah was not there in the 3rd test also, no?
Which one? Sydney?
Melbourne. Oh, Sydney.
Sydney he played, but he didn't bowl much in the second innings. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and also
but they didn't play 4 bowlers.
That Sydney pitch was very different to this one. I mean, this
one
was
of course,
really green.
No, but I'm saying that team also didn't play 4 fast bowlers.
They did at Brisbane.
No. I'm talking about the Gabba. Yeah, they did at Brisbane because they played Shardul, Natarajan, Siraj, and Saini. That's true. But apart from that, they didn't. So I'm wondering if it is that the quality of the bowling also that sort of was preventing them from taking that option. Though I agree that you have to play for the conditions. You have to give your best chance. and it's not like Washington Sundar and Jadeja bowled like a big deal. So like a
Yeah, but
big chunk
even
of
there,
overs.
I mean, Ashwin bowled 24 overs in the first innings at Melbourne. He bowled first change. And there was a theory. I mean, the theory was that if it's green on the first day, then there will be some help for the spinner. And I mean, Ravi Shastri, this was a long held theory with Ravi Shastri. He's always thought that, especially if it's a lively first day pitch, then a spinner who can turn the ball hard can get something on it because he can
Yeah,
get
yeah. And Ashwin said that also. Like he
yeah.
went up to him and said, or something.
And not
Clearly
only
very
that,
Shastrian.
it was not just that uh, Ashwin came on to bowl quite early. He came on to bowl within the first hour of the match. So and he was brilliant. I mean, so there was a theory of how they're going to take 20 wickets. There was a theory of, I mean, Mohammad Siraj bowled third change in that match. And it was like, Bumrah, Umesh, and Mohammad Siraj. And that was actually Siraj's debut, MCG. So, but anyway, I mean, and also Ashwin and Jadeja are great bowlers, no? And those pitches were also not like these pitches, man. I mean, look, in that MCG Test match, Nathan Lyon bowled 27 overs in Australia's first inning out of 115. In this Test match, in this MCG Test match, he what? Didn't bowl a lot of overs. He bowled what? Just 6 overs or 7 overs. That's it. So these are not. Sorry, this Sydney Test match, he bowled 6 or 7 overs. In this Adelaide Test match, he bowled 1 over. So these wickets are not been like the 2020-21 wickets.
Yeah. And also one more thing, in both 1819 and 2021, when they played 4 bowlers, they played 6 batsmen. At least that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what I don't understand is India seemed to be sort of built for sort of self-inflicted contingencies in this series. So it was not like, Australia have a great attack, and so we also need to bowl them out cheaply. No, it was like, well, Australia have a great attack, and we'll be 100 for 5, and it will look bad if we are 150 all out. So we need some batting to make that 150 all out into 220, and it's all right if it means that 325 becomes 450. And now come on, they can't concede. Like they conceded 400 twice in the first innings of this series, and these are not wickets where you concede 400. The squad is like just really inefficient. There are a lot of people who are just there. Like it's not clear what they're there for. Like in this match, like Jadeja and Washington Sundar bowled 4 overs between them. Like, you cannot have that. Why? And they bowled 4 overs between them while these fast bowlers are like busting a gut and not getting a break at all. Like in this, like there was nothing in the wicket for the finger spinners. Absolutely nothing.
And I mean, is Gambhir taking every single decision on this team? That's
I
really
don't think so. But I think they're just, and also, I mean, they're also in this situation like where Rohit Sharma not there for the first Test match. So it's all been like a, I don't know. This is just like a.
It's like you started to make biryani, ended up with a khichdi, man.
Yeah.
How it happened, you don't know. Along the way, something happened, and you now have khichdi instead of a biryani.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Harshit Rana's selection in the first Test was a bit curious for me, right? Like you had Akashdeep, who started off really well in Test cricket,
and then the discarding was also weird. Like after the second Test, he's gone. Like.
And you had Prasidh Krishna, whom you prepped for this. Essentially, you've been building Prasidh Krishna for this Australian series. You gave him the debut in South Africa, or at least he played in South Africa for sure. And he's got the perfect attributes that you need in a fast bowler from India to play in Australia.
Yeah, I think basically they felt Bumrah was going to win them the series, and or they put so much on Bumrah that basically they didn't really think about like how to get 20 wickets. I think So
they thought every test would be like Perth, basically.
Well, it nearly was. I mean it doesn't work like that. No, I mean Australia have also got Cummins and Boland and Hazelwood and Mitchell Stark.
And you had a pink ball test, and you have Mitchell Stark. So it was always going to even out in Adelaide. Also, talking of Perth, we should mention this, that now it seems inevitable, but the Australian reaction to the Perth loss was extreme. They thought this India is going to roll over and this Australian team is on.
Yeah, but I think that was a press reaction. I don't think the Australian reaction was extreme. I think the Australians said, Pat Cummins was asked after Perth, what changes are you going to make? He said, well, not much. We know.
Press is what I mean, not the team's reaction for sure.
But that's what all Australian reaction is designed to get clicks, man. Come on, that the press reaction. I mean, all this Justin Langer and of various sundry people,
It's the same everywhere, dude. Now Indian reaction is also the same.
The media reaction. The media is there to generate traffic. So that's not. They don't represent either team.
No, but as an outsider, I always thought Australia was an exception. Right?
No, it's not that.
Nonsense.
When
they are the most hypiest of all.
How can they be an exception? They have to also eat. No, I mean, come on.
Also, I think they too will run into a few problems down the line.
Yeah.
And I think that they will continue to react like this, like the Perth defeat. They will also lose against other teams, and then the reaction will again come back. It's not.
Yeah, I mean they're going to lose. They're going to lose Cummins, Stark, and Lyon together. I mean Cummins maybe not together, but Stark and Lyon together.
I mean Hazelwood.
Stark. Hazelwood too.
Yeah,
I think Cummins and Hazelwood together, I guess. I mean, Cummins is younger, right?
Yeah, but everybody is closer to 35 than they would like, man. Come on.
Some are actually 35, man. So
and Boland is older than all of them, except Lyon.
I mean, actually, England go there end of next year and end of this year, and they probably have a pretty good chance. So,
I mean, England. I mean, it depends on whether they also have a good theory for taking 20 wickets.
Yeah. They are they're on their own trip for many times, but I think they have a good side now to compete in Australia.
Watch my baseball boys.
I don't
destroy
know.
Australia.
If you ask me, England are not going to win the Ashes under Ben Stokes.
5-0, dude. 5-0.
I mean, I think
will be hammered.
They need to get past Ben Stokes. I mean, Ben Stokes has become something like I don't know. He's just become weird.
He's the English Sadhguru, man. Now he's spouting nonsense.
Exactly.
Cricketing nonsense.
No, since our podcast is always accused of sidestepping the Rohit Kohli decline question, I would like to take a shot at it.
Yeah, take a shot.
Okay,
now take a shot. When they're 37 and 36, now take a shot. That's the most easiest thing when everybody is already pounding them.
Contrary to the popular perception, this is my take on this. I think Rohit's decline is like self-inflicted in many ways. I think he got carried away with all the success that he's had as a captain, especially in other formats where he believed in accelerating upfront. And that Bangladesh second test also gave him a lot of, let's say, momentum to go that way. And he's changed the way he's batting in Test cricket, and that's kind of, let him down. So I don't see a fundamental decline in his batting at the moment, as much as the tweak is not paying off. So if he goes back to his old ways, he might still succeed. But with Kohli, I feel like he's doing everything he's meant to do. I cannot find an obvious flaw in his batting. And it's not as simple as what Manjrekar says. He's got an outside the Australian problem. I mean, the guy is getting out in so many different ways. Of course, the last test he got out both in innings in the same way. But he's getting out in
batsman to get out in exactly the same way in both innings.
Even including the way he takes off the right hand.
People have forgotten that he's getting out to spinners in spinning conditions also. There he does not have an outside off problem. There he has a fundamental...
No, but maybe there also he's getting outside off stump. But outside off stump is such a broad definition, dude. That's like, he's getting out to bowlers.
So you're saying he's not doing anything different, but still he's getting out.
I'm just saying, so to me, that's a sign of organic decline. I mean, to me, if you are saying, okay, this guy's past his best and we got to move on, I would think Kohli is displaying those, sort of signals.
Yeah, but the point is, he is not, come on, yaar. he's not averaging 20 in test matches where, you know, teams are making 400 consistently. No, that's not happening.
No, but over 5 years, there is absolutely no doubt that he's not even in the top 10 percentile of batsmen in the world in every condition that he's playing. But not even top 25 percentile, I would say, over 5 years.
Rohit PR has infiltrated 81 All Out podcast.
What do you mean infiltrated?
I'm the original PR.
Infiltrated means what is it? As if he went away anywhere.
81 All Out started with Rohit, by the way. The first,
before Twitter was invented, Mahesh was watching Ranji games involving Rohit Sharma. Man. He's the OG of the OGs.
He's the OG of OGs, sir. Okay. That's a fair point. I think we have also said this, right? This whole ODI approach, T20 approach, the liberation that he has tried to bring to the team has moved on to this thing. I mean, there was a point where he was getting out a lot to the pull shot. Now that is also not happening, I think, too much. Now he's more.
So the talk of the Virat Kohli outside the off-stump problem comes because of Rohit. Because Rohit is perhaps the only batsman in the world who doesn't get it out as much outside the off-stump problem ball as the one that's coming into his body. So I think somebody did a pitch map of like a Hawkeye, like a beehive or something of Kohli's dismissal and Rohit's dismissal. Kohli's dismissal is like the 90% prototype of how batsmen get out.
Yeah, it's like slip cordon.
Yeah, exactly. And Rohit is very unique, which also makes me believe that it's not because he's moving late. It's not because he's got a technical problem. It's because he's made up his mind to play in a certain way, which is not a high percentage way of playing Test cricket. And then he's finding it out in a very, very sort of
but that's not. I mean, you look at the balls to which Rohit Kohli got out in this match. No, I mean, I looked at that line and length and that much seam movement. I mean, Steve Smith has played 77 such balls and made 3 for 30. So these are not. I mean, 1.3 degrees of seam movement is enormous, man. It's very hard to play.
But that's always been the case. I mean, you also tweeted about Lara's record, right? See, the thing is, great batsmen make up for it when the conditions are slightly better. Right?
Yeah, but they're not being So they're not. When has he found conditions that are?
But are you saying over 5 years? Over 5 years.
Fair to Kohli, he did score 100.
I mean, he did. No, he got conditions. He made 100.
No, that is not just easy conditions. That's that's really like suboptimal bowling. Come on.
Yeah.
He batted against part-timers.
Against New Zealand, he got easy conditions. He made a 70.
But come on. If you give those conditions over the last 5 years to any batsman in India, Shreyas Iyer would have had a similar record. I mean, let's not.
Yeah, but that's the point. No, when have I not said that you replace any of these people with any of these? You take the 8 or 9 best players and you pick any 6. It's not going to make a big difference as to how many runs you're going to put up.
No, that is true. But my question is he in a decline? Let's just forget about the efficiency of the team and all that. Just focusing.
I don't know, man, whether he's in a decline. I mean, that's like not a. I don't think that's an answerable question. Whether he plays or not has no effect on whether India are more or less likely to win. He's a batsman. There are batsmen who are 90% of Kohli or 110% of Kohli in India. There's no batsman who's 200% of Kohli or 50% of Kohli, who's going to get anywhere near the Test team. One is because there's no batsman who's 200% of Kohli, and second is a batsman who's 50% of Kohli is not going to get anywhere near the Indian team. So it really doesn't matter, right? They can play whoever they want.
That I agree.
I mean, they're not playing Sarfaraz because they think he's suspect against fast bowling, and they're probably right. Because I mean he's got problems scoring front of the wicket against fast bowling, and on these wickets that's going to be really tested. He can't keep scoring runs to third man over here. What is the purpose? Why does it matter so much? And I'm always suspicious of this. Like what is the motivation for these questions? And most of the time it's like
because it's related, no, Karthikeya.
It's
related, no, because these guys don't score runs. Because these guys don't score runs. Forget us commoners asking this question.
Latent iconoclasm, no? I mean,
because these guys don't score runs. Forget all our commoner question of Kohli, Rohit. The team itself goes and pads itself against such failures by adding more batters, no? So it
Yeah, but
matters, no?
but that's a bad decision. No, I mean they shouldn't do that. So the
Yeah, but they
problem
do
is that
that.
they made a bad decision.
But they do. That's why this question
No, but
is
it's not.
there.
I
It's
mean,
not. No. Wait. So they make a bad decision. They're responsible for the bad decision. The cause, you cannot say that it's a bad decision, but the cause is justified. Both of those things cannot be true. I don't look. The other thing is also
no,
that
more than
if you
anything, it's
play
just it.
No, why are you saying that? No, all I
So
said is
I'll give you a psychobabble. I'll give you some very persuasive psychobabble about it. Part of the reason why this top order is being so cavalier and so attacking is because they know that there is insurance in the lower order.
Ganta, they were cavalier. They were all edging it to slips. At least if they got caught in like long on covers, then fine.
Where
What
are you
I'm
going to
saying
find
is,
what long on? I don't think Australia had a long on in the entire series for a fast bowler.
No,
Come on.
he's saying if they're all
For-
played like Pant, then it's fine.
then
Like
it's
Pant in the
fine.
second
No,
innings.
no, your psychobabble is valid. What I am really asking is this question of whether Kohli or Rohit should be dropped is there because since they cannot be dropped, or if the management think that there is no reason for them to be dropped, they keep adding batters. And that affects our bowling. That is why this question is there. The question is not that is
But then
Kohli greater than
your
Rohit or
problem is
Rohit
with
greater
the
than Kohli.
management. No, problem is with the management. No, it's not the batting is irrelevant to the question.
No, but the part of the management problem can be fixed if you find someone who's 110% of Kohli, the current Kohli, that is.
Well, but that's not going to make any difference. No, I mean, it's not
Watch
like he's
my
not
boy
going to
Sai
edge.
Sudarshan come up.
It's not like he's going to it's not like he's not going to edge a ball which seems 1.3 degrees. Man. Come on, everybody edges that.
I think this. I think you're probably you're conflating two things. One is the question of Kohli and Rohit and it's just a cricketing. I mean, it's just an interesting question to have. I totally agree that you're saying that reinforcing the bowling is what will eventually give India the chance. But this is just an interesting question to have.
Exactly. What if I'm not interested in cricket?
One of the things that's happened to Kohli, I think, is that he's been found out a little bit. That he has had this habit of privileging his front foot. He has this habit of committing forward. So teams are sort of teams are bowling wider to him. Teams are bowling, a little bit shorter to him. And because they can do that because it's safe. No, I mean he's not going to square cut you. So and over here they also have like very tall bowlers who can get a lot of lift. So a couple of his dismissals are actually from lifters. Actually,
Yes.
3 or 4 of his dismissals are from lifters. They are not really driving. There sometimes he's out driving, sometimes he's out fending. All of those are because he's committing to the front foot. But that's how he's always played. Now you want to turn Kohli into Steve Waugh, that doesn't happen. No, I mean I don't know of any player who's changed their game to that.
No, we just want to replace Kohli with Steve Waugh.
No, but here in all this, we shouldn't ignore the attendant pressures that do come into this ecosystem. It's not like Ajit Agarkar is taking decisions in a vacuum. So there is that. But yeah, we don't have to get into the Bollywood.
No, but that's his job. No, he gets paid big bucks to do that job. So the selectors are paid a big fee, big salary.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So don't do it. No, they'll do that job. I mean, and they have, to be fair, they have phased people out. I mean, it's not like one series, India are playing all these players and they lose 8 out of 8, and then suddenly the next series, the whole 11 is completely different. It has happened in stages, and I mean, the real question is not what to do with these people. The real question is where's the middle order version of Yashasvi Jaiswal, and there isn't one. I mean, the last middle order version of Yashasvi Jaiswal was Shubman Gill. He was making so many runs in the domestic format that he was at the age of 19 and 20 that he had to be picked.
But yeah, talking about middle order, we should talk about Pant. I mean, let's not ignore that Mad Max innings that he came and played in this second innings. So that was like perhaps the most exhilarating phase of this Test match to
Glorious,
watch.
glorious innings, man. Glorious innings. Mental, completely mental. And I was so happy when he was playing that way. It was as if he's making a point against Sunil Gavaskar's stupid comment. This is the
Correct.
percentage. This is what happens when I play. Because first innings he batted like crazy for like 100 balls to get 40. Second innings he hit that same 40 in 19 balls. I mean, that kind of talent you can't police, man. Just let it be.
Well, that-
No, and it sort of reinforces the whole point of reacting to just one thing, right? Like he has played that shot that he played in the previous test that they played in Melbourne. He has played those shots so often that you can't just one time when it doesn't come off say that it is a bad thing. After that, again, one innings later he plays the same thing, and then you're like, this is how it is different from that because he did it when the bowler was bowling like this.
You have to hear
make
the
these
mental
distinctions.
gymnastics. You have to hear the mental gymnastics of commentators during that innings. I like that risk. There is no fielder
Yeah.
there. I don't like this risk because there is a fielder there. Then he hit.
but the point is, even when he played that lap sweep, he was not playing the lap sweep to third man. No, I mean he got caught at third man. So it's not a question of playing it where there's no fielder.
It was an edge.
Yeah.
No, they
I
were
don't get
classifying
it.
risks based on this is a good risk.
I know.
This is a bad
I
risk.
remember that. So he played that. He came down the track to Boland the first ball, right? That he faced in this second innings, and they were like, "This is how you put pressure back on the bowler." Then he tried one reverse lap, and they said, "No, no, no, no. This he should not be doing." How what, man? Like what is this? Suddenly you have all this.
Yeah, but and they never know beforehand what he's going to do or whether it's a good idea or not. It's only after looking at it. When it works, it's a good idea. When it doesn't work, it's a bad idea. This is just very dumb.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to talk in this Test match? There was
Everything Australia did. I saw a few Usman Khwaja must retire posts. I think Michael Clark said Khwaja must retire.
Yeah,
but after the first test,
with
right?
his age.
Not after first test. I think before this test.
He's also 38.
Before this test.
So I mean that's also another thing.
But still, he got like Bumrah, man.
He did. But Khwaja has been going through like also his own extended run of.
Khwaja's had a bad year in 2025.
Yeah.
2024.
That is understandable, and also they are also going to face this problem. I mean, I feel that end of this year, Australia could face a very similar problem to India, where they are also in transition. So end of this year, maybe next year, whenever.
And the next Ashes, Khwaja will be 39.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know if how that's going to turn out, but yeah, so they will have that problem. But as of now, they have this Scott Boland fellow who is like the greatest person you would want to have on that bench, with Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins as your main bowlers. I mean, this guy comes in and he's like one of those uncovered wickets legends who just keeps getting wickets, and he's astounding with his length. This match, he was unplayable, man, at times. I mean, he could have got 20 wickets in this match. That is how well he was bowling. And the ball.
Cummins felt like a luxury, man, with this guy on.
Correct. Like that ball that bowls Jaiswal, right? Like how does any human on earth play that ball, man? This is impossible. Like it's like we watched like great bowling, right? And this is like straight out of the greatest hits that a bowler can deliver. And Scott Boland just keeps doing that, and he did it in this match. I mean, he's like who knows how if he will even play in the next test Australia play against Sri Lanka. I doubt it, because those are probably going to require 2 or 3 spinners there. But yeah, I mean, at home he's a master, and he does it over and over.
And they did in this series, they did prepare wickets to suit him. I don't think I've seen us like 5 straight wickets which did so much in Australia. Australia, you always get 1 or 2 really flat wickets. In this series, if you take out a brief period in the middle of the Melbourne Test, there was really no phase of play which was either flat or offered anything to the spinners. It was all fast bowling all the time.
I am generally not worried about Australia or transition run because they had McGrath, Gillespie, and then they had Mitchell Johnson and Ryan Harris, and then they have these guys. So they keep bringing up good or great fast bowlers, man. That culture is there. I'm only worried about us. We don't have that culture. We have started having that culture, immediately reverted to type.
No, I mean, we there are options, and I think in 2 3 years, these three bowlers themselves, Prasidh, Akashdeep, and Harshit themselves could be a good core. But yeah, it depends on a lot of things. A lot of things have to, fall into place for that. But I think it's there. Mukesh is. They tried Mukesh. I think Mukesh is a decent bowler for these conditions. He might have even been more effective than Harshit in these conditions.
At least in Sydney and Adelaide, I think. In Sydney and Adelaide,
yeah.
ping pong test, he would have been good. Here in this
And
test,
then
he
you
would have
have
been good.
Saini was there for, Saini has always been in the sort of the
They
mix.
really wanted Saini to work, but he
Yeah.
never had enough control.
Yeah, so I think there is a pool. There's just a question of how they develop and what the plan is for them.
It's
See, the
not.
other thing we forget.
I don't think it's a question. I don't think India's problem is players.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there are plenty of players. I think India's right now. It's not clear how Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma together combine to what their theory of winning Test matches is. Because
Hmm.
the thing about Kohli and first Shastri and then Kumble and then Shastri again and then for a brief period Rahul Dravid. It was clear what they were trying to achieve. You know, like I don't understand what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah, that clarity is important. The other thing I was just going to wrap up with the bowling was that one of the things that really helped India develop that quality of bowling that they had is the constant feedback that was happening between the bowling coach, the NCA when players got injured, their development, how it was tracked. I hope all that continues because that is, I mean, I think it will, but I just hope that that system doesn't fall off because Bharat Arun has often stressed how, when players were not in the team, how important it was for him to be in touch with them as well as the NCA coaches to track their development and their how they were going. And that really had a big role to play in, getting Ishant, Umesh, Bumrah, all these bowlers, ready and fit when they had to. Anyway, so yeah, that's something we'll watch. India play a long test series in England later this year. And again, that'll be something that will be interesting to see how they go there. I think for this series, I think we have covered what we could for now. But there will be, we will hopefully talk more about this Indian team and, their last, maybe, do a wrap up of 2024 or do something a little bit similar to that. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you, Ashoka. Thank you, Kartikeya. And thanks to all our listeners who've been, listening through the series. We previewed it and we reviewed all the tests. It's been great fun. It's been a fantastic series. I mean, there is no taking away from that. India Australia is always great fun. India Australia is always extremely, thrilling to watch, and it has not been any different. I mean, there have been phases in this series where you felt, that you couldn't turn away, and that's exactly what you want in a great series. You don't want predictability. You want like always things moving quick, things changing, wickets falling, runs being scored quick. Everything that you want in a good Test series happened. You didn't even get any one drab test. Like sometimes it happens there. There was the Ahmedabad test, India against Australia last time when they toured, which turned out to be quite drab because of the wicket. But this series didn't even have one such test. We've had the privilege of watching two absolutely fantastic sides, India and Australia, ever since say 20. I would start at 2017, that home series that India played. Absolutely magnificent series. they managed to win. And then from 2017 till now, we've seen like a set of series that will stand the test of time. I mean, I think we're going to be talking about all these series for a long, long time, and people who grew up watching them will never forget them. And it's been remarkable. I mean, these sort of things don't come along very often. I mean, even now, people talk about West Indies against Pakistan in the 1980s precisely because of the quality of cricket against two very, very strong teams. And I think this will be similar. I think, 20 years down the line, people will still be talking about India, Australia in that phase between 2017 and 2024. Hopefully, beyond 2024 too. But yeah, for now, we will sign off. 81allout.com is our website. At 81allout is our handle on X. You can rate and review our podcast. That'll really help people find us. You can also send in comments via Spotify. That's a feature that few people have been using, and it's been great to see your comments. And now we can even reply to those comments. You can also send us feedback on the website or wherever else you want. Thank you for engaging with us through this series. I mean, few of you have been regularly sending us comments, and yeah, we've been reading all of them. Trust me, we may not respond to each and every one, but we definitely appreciate that you're engaging and sending us your thoughts. We will definitely keep going with talking about other topics and can hopefully get some interviews in over the next few weeks. Lots to talk about. And yeah, keep listening. Good night and take it easy.
India have won the series. They're going to get back for two. India home. Lords goes wild.